Okay, welcome back to Module 2 on Strategic Thinking. This is Part 4. We are focused on 6 principles of being a strategic thinker. We've already talked about being outcomes focused, about understanding the context of your situation, and now we're about to talk about a third principle, which is considering the capabilities you need to be successful in achieving your vision. And when you think about it, having a vision and a purpose is wonderful and necessary. But we also need to be honest and realistic and ask ourselves, do we really have what it takes to be successful? Can we really do this, right? Do we have the capabilities needed? Now you might be thinking, well, hey, God called me to this, so that's all I need. I've got God on my side. He's gonna make it all happen. And yes, that's absolutely true. God is our absolute number one person we go to and depend on for all these things. However, I also think with virtually everything in life, there's part that God wants to play in making things happen, and there's a part that he expects us to play as well. He expects us to do our part, whatever that might be. And in terms of being a strategic leader, I think it's important for us to consider what can we do for our part to make sure we're leading well, right? And set us up for success in whatever way we can as a leader. And that includes considering our capabilities, whether it relates to the capabilities of our people, of our processes, of our technology, or even our structure. So when we consider our capabilities as a strategic leader, I like to use this simple model that is called the STOP model, the word stop with 2 P's in it, which basically stands for strategy or strategic thinking equals thinking about technology, that's the T, thinking about the organizational structure, that's the O, thinking about people, and thinking about processes. So strategy equals technology plus organizational structure plus people plus processes. Stop and think about your strategy, right? So this is just a matter of asking questions about what kind of capabilities do we need in each of these areas. It's 4 different areas: technology, structure, people, process. So we can ask questions very simply like the ones on the slide. What in general, what capabilities do we really need to be effective in achieving our vision? Right? That's the general question. More specifically, we can ask, what technologies could we utilize or develop that might increase our ministry's effectiveness to achieve our vision? We could ask, what organizational structure would help us to be more efficient in getting things done? We can ask ourselves, what skills or abilities do our people need to develop to be more effective in doing their job to achieve our vision? And lastly, we can ask ourselves, what processes could we develop that would help identify, explain what we do and how we do things, again, to make us more effective in achieving our vision. Okay, so here's a visual example again. We have our overall vision, and hopefully we've identified some end outcomes that we think will contribute to that end vision. And then we're thinking about strategies, right? So what are the strategies we need to achieve each end outcome? So in the earlier parts of this module, we've already talked about using a SWOT analysis, for example, to identify strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats, and that can help you to identify some strategies. You can also use the STOP model of strategic thinking to identify some strategies. So you can think about, okay, what technologies, structure, people, process capabilities do we need strategically to achieve each end outcome, right? So our STOP analysis can also be reflected in our strategies. So another example I can give you from the ministry I'm a part of, the ALLC. We already know that the ALLC is about developing and multiplying leaders, and that one of our end outcomes, that first one on the top, is about equipping leaders. We feel like we need to equip our leaders. If we use the STOP model to help identify some strategies, you'll see on the slide that I've used little letters to identify which part of the STOP model these strategies or ideas came from. So a PE would be a people-related capability, a T would be a technology-related capability, a PR would be a process-related capability, and an O would be an organizational structure capability that we feel like we need. So again, focused on the equipping leaders end outcome, there's just a couple examples here of strategies we identified from the STOP model. PE, a people capability, is quite obvious in this case. So we're trying to develop leaders. In order to do so, we need to know, well, what are the skills and capabilities we feel like leaders need to have? So identify those skills and then find out which of those skills do our people have and which of them do our leaders feel like they need to develop in. So we need to identify the needs of our leaders so that we can grow the capabilities of our people, because that's what it's all about. So it makes sense that we'd have a strategy related to people development, right? For T, technology, one of the strategies of what's a technology capability we need to achieve the end outcome of equipping leaders. Well, again, I already talked about this earlier, but there's lots of great technology out there that allows us to connect with people online, right? Connect with people, learn from each other via video and audio. So how can we take advantage of that and develop that capability to equip leaders using the technology that exists out there? So developing online training, both live and pre-recorded trainings, is a way to utilize and develop our technology capability to equip leaders. Okay, so now you've seen an example of using the STOP model to think strategically, and now it's your turn.